It's a weird stretch of football coming up for the Chiefs. You've got Saturday game tomorrow, followed up by a Wednesday game next week, Christmas Day, taking on the Steelers. So, going to be a bizarre stretch here, but you know what? When you are the premier team in the NFL, you play when the TV networks want you to, like it or not. That's the business side. Kendall Gammon is here, our Chiefs analyst, former player. The conversation is sponsored by XFinity. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with XFinity. Bring on the good stuff. Well, it looks like Mahomes is a full go tomorrow, Kendall. How surprised are you by that?
I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that he practiced and went through everything. I am a little surprised because of things, but on the other hand, here I am on the fence. On the other hand, it's Patrick Mahomes. He wants to play. He's the ultimate competitor, and he did say that this high ankle sprain isn't as bad as the last one he had when he went out and played against Jacksonville. So you just deal with it. It is what it is, and you go about your business. And, you know, Mahomes talked about it. You know, you go and you get 2 games, and all of a sudden you're going to have a rest at the end of the season, and you're going to have a bye. So it's big. There's no doubt.
Okay, let me ask you, when it comes to this offensive line, we know he's been frustrated by it all season long. It showed again this past week in that game after he got hurt. What is going on? And take us through what it's like being a former player in that locker room when the quarterback is not feeling the O-line. You know how it works. We're all human beings. People start pointing fingers. How do you try to nip that in the bud?
Well, you know what? I understand why you say that, and I think it's understandable that we naturally think that. But I just think this locker room in the Kansas City Chiefs, Pete, is so strong that's not part of it. Yeah, has Patrick got frustrated at times? He has. Anybody would. But what he's saying is real, which is, you know, everybody's trying to do their best, and you go about it. And, you know, he always does say the right things. But in general, I think everybody understands that they're all after the same prize, and, you know, criticizing each other publicly and doing things like that wouldn't serve anybody any good. So I think it's a very cohesive locker room. And as I always say, and I go back to it, which is Andy Reid and his coaching and how he leads, I think is the number one reason this team is so good. I mean, obviously you have great players, but lots of teams have great players. I think the head coaching job that he does, while it will never be coach of the year because he's too good to get that, and he's not coming from 2-14 to 14-2, will never get that accolade of coach of the year. What he does coaching, even as good as people think he is, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, is still underrated.
Kendall Gammon's here on KCMO. You know, some people are wondering, Kendall, last year Mahomes got the offensive line, those custom golf carts. This year they got a Yeti with some, there were some nice things inside the Yeti. But some people might be reading into it a little bit too much and saying, hey, I don't know, last year golf carts, this year a Yeti cooler. It's a bit of a drop-off there, Kendall. What do you think of that?
You know what? I think they're just happy to be thought of. But, yeah, I guess comparatively so. Now, I don't know what was in the Yeti, and who knows, there might have been some there always could have been some envelopes with cash in there also. Different amounts maybe, to speak to your last point of if there's any division. I'm joking, obviously, but there's still a pretty cool thing, no doubt about it.
Okay. All right, fair enough. How much were you guys, was the gift thing, was that a thing when you were playing, and what are the politics behind gifts in NFL locker rooms?
Well, there was. I remember that Trent always got the offensive lineman some things there. I remember in New Orleans, actually, Billy Joe Hobart, rather, when he was the QB. I just remember him specifically getting the O-line some things, and at that time, that was back when, you know, I was 310 pounds and was an offensive lineman also. And I remember getting some nice cigars and some cognac and some things like that. So I don't know if it's an unwritten rule, but most QBs try to get something for their offensive linemen. And that's kind of where it ends, though, as I remember. Okay. All right. And I guess now as those salaries, especially at the quarterback position, have skyrocketed, the quality of gift has gone up. So that's exactly right. Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right. Kendall Gammon's here on KCMO Talk Radio. So take me through, Kendall, this Houston Texans team, and what they bring to the table tomorrow. Obviously, they're playing good football for the most part. They're having themselves a good season as well. This is a game that's been circled for a long time. These two teams were expected to be two of the better teams in the AFC, and the Texans are right now in first place in their division, the AFC South, and it looks like they're going to run away with this thing. So, with that being said, what can we expect from this Texans team? What do they do well? What should fans be watching out for?
Well, I think a big thing is they do a good job defensively. They've got a great pass rush, and they're close to setting the record for sacks, I believe, in a year defensively. So that's part of it, and certainly that, considering what we've been joking about, which is no joking matter in terms of the offensive line of Kansas City, is something that goes a long way. But DeMeco Ryans and what he's done there at Houston, turning this program around, this franchise around in a few years, to me is impressive. He has got the team. He's got their ear. That they play with an attitude. Certainly, C.J. Stroud, the QB, in his second year, not as impressive as his first year. I had a chance to speak to some reporters in Houston yesterday. And it's interesting, while they are in the playoffs and they should win their division, they're fighting for some, positioning and where they'll be. As good as they've done, they were expected to be better than they've been this year. They've been kind of up and down here and there. So it's this is a chance for them to prove some things also coming into Kansas City, and also probably DeMeco Ryans is probably saying to his team, this is as playoff atmosphere as you'll get during the regular season coming in to Kansas City. So and he's probably talking to them about the fact that, listen, the Chiefs, I know Mahomes is hurt and everything, but they're not buying that. They know he's going to play, or they assume he's going to play, and that's what we think. But he's telling the team, Kansas City's got something to play for, and this is a big test. And you look at the run game. Joe Mixon has done a nice job for them. So this is a solid team. This is obviously a playoff team, and a win over Houston would be big if they could do it in a decent fashion. We're still trying to see this offense and this team of Kansas City play a full game in all three phases, and this will be a stiff test on Sunday.
It will.
Saturday, rather. Excuse me.
No, you're right. All right, Kendall, what are you thinking tomorrow afternoon at Arrowhead?
I'm going to go, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think maybe, are we an underdog? We were at one point, or are we favored
the
by 2 points?
The line flipped. It was Chiefs -3. Then when Mahomes got injured, it went to Chiefs +3. Now they're -1.5 or 2 is the latest I saw, maybe 3.
That's kind of a pick 'em, but I've had my thoughts have been 20-17 the Chiefs. I just don't see the offense continuing or the offense to going up a level, and especially against this good defense of Houston.
I like that. All right, Kendall, you're going to hear from a lot of folks. We're going to have you on Monday to look back at this game, Tuesday to preview Christmas Day, and then Thursday after the Christmas Day game. So you're going to be like co-hosting the show here on KCMO next week.
Hey, I'm going to invoice you guys for overtime, so get
ready. Kendall, we love it, man. Thanks so much for the time.
Hey, you bet. Take care.
All right. See you later. Kendall Gammon on KCMO.